everybody. So what's been going on? I finally finished pretty much buffing the car out, and I've been working on putting it all back together again. This is a very exciting time for me. Something that I've been waiting to do for a long time. I mean, every part of this restoration I've been waiting to do for a very long time. So it's just one of those steps towards completion, and I'm enjoying every step of the way. So I'm going to show you what I've got accomplished so far. I don't have it all done because there is a lot of things that still needs to get done before it gets put back on a car. Like, for example, all of the screws, nuts, and bolts, all of them have to be either treated with my rust treatment with the phosphoric acid, and definitely refinished with my truck bed coating. So every single bolt has to be coated with some type of coating, paint or whatever, before it gets put on the car, so that I can prevent rust, since I'm reusing, for the most part, all of the bolts that I took off the car. There are some bolts that if they're not good enough, I'll just go and buy from Home Depot or anywhere else. But for the most part, the bolts that I removed from the car going on 3 years ago are the ones that are going back on the car, but in a new state, just as the rest of the car, in a reborn state. So I'm going to show you what I got done so far, and it's not fully done, but at least you get an idea of how the car looks fully buffed, and all of the things that I got done up to now. So let's go check out the car. So here it is, Chevy Nova, nicely buffed. I'm very happy with the results of the buffing. Let's show you some of the metallics, so you can see the metallics there. So the color really does pop. In here, the lighting, the fluorescent lighting gives it like an orangey tint, but when it goes outside, depending on the lighting, it can go anywhere from this orangey tint to dark red to an explosive metallic red when in direct sunlight. So the color is awesome. So let's show you the things that I got placed on the car. I got the 454 emblems on there, and as you can see, it makes an appearance, but it's not like overwhelming, or it doesn't like stand out a whole lot, but it does make an appearance. I got the Nova custom emblems on there, and you can see there's two types of emblems for these Novas. There's the Nova emblem with the chrome and the black, and then there's the one that's all chrome. This Nova, because it came with this emblem, came originally with the chrome and black, and to my advantage, it's actually cheaper than the full chrome emblem. And here's a look at the reflection of the paint. So you can look down that panel and it looks pretty straight. I think I did a great job, not being an expert in bodywork. And I think that anyone can do it. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I think it all has to do with being patient, paying attention, and taking your time. And that's exactly what I did to get the results that I have here. So anyone can do it. So don't think that you can't do it. I thought I couldn't do it until, I was given the green light from an idea that I could do it. And I'm glad I went ahead and did it. So my mirrors are on, so you can see there, my Camaro mirrors are on. And I painted these last year, and the color matched great. I mean, there is no difference in the color. So I'm happy with that. And then see if we can show the metallics. Yeah, you can kind of see the metallics. And then of course there's two parts of there's two molding parts that go on here, and I got one of them. So I wanted to see how it looks against the red that I painted on the car, and this I painted last year, and it matched perfectly as well. I got my chrome handles on, I got my new locks on there. So look at that. There's the roof. So came out really nice. You see the reflection in the roof. The deck leg came out really nice. You can see the reflection on there. Nice and shiny. Here's another angle at the panel. You can see the reflection on there. I got my chrome rims on, and the rims, no more dirty rims, dirty tires, and those tires were rotten. I mean, they were falling apart. They actually was ripping apart. I'm going to show that picture right now. So there you go. I'm glad I was able to take them off before they actually exploded on me. So they were ripping apart. They were in bad shape. So for the front here, I got the trim, the eyebrow, the hood molding trim installed. I got the headlights installed with new retaining rings. And the headlights, they get their ground from the radiator core support. So you see here, that's the original grounding point. Not the bolt, but this location is the original grounding point for the headlights. The headlights supposed to get attached to the radiator core support, and that's the grounding for the headlights. And there's basically on both sides. But you notice that there's a wire attached to a bolt. Now that's an 8-gauge wire that goes from one side to the other. And on the other side of that wire, there's a bolt, and that gets attached to my junction block, which is here. If you recall from the video from the battery relocation, I have the battery in the trunk, and so all the power comes to the front here, and the ground I wanted to distribute to various points, so that's why I have this distribution block. So the first grounding point was on the fender, as original to the factory. And the second grounding point, which the car didn't have a second grounding point, but I decided to put this, and the second grounding point actually goes to the radiator core support. And that ground is direct to the battery, and it's a solid ground for the headlights for both sides. And in the case for this side, the horn is on this side, so the horn also gets its ground from there. So that's what I did as far as modding for the wiring. And then on this car, it came with this wind deflector that goes attached to the bottom of the radiator core support. So I sanded this down and gave it a nice couple coats of that truck bed coating, and now it looks textured and beautiful. So that's what I got so far done for the front here. Now I'm waiting on the SS grill that I ordered. I have it on order, and so without that I can't proceed to put the lower bucket and then the molding that goes across there. So I'm waiting on those, and then of course also there's headlight bezels that go here. So when that comes in, I'll be able to complete this part of the front. So that's pretty much for the front. The taillights came out really sweet. These taillights actually have a stainless steel chrome looking ring around each of the lights. So I gave them a little bit of a polish. You can see how nice it is as far as the polishing goes. So they look like they're chrome, and I installed them and got them on. So I started doing a little bit on the interior, and I'll show you that right now. When I did the 10-part series on the vintage air insulation, I never did show how I was going to do the last vent. I did state that I was going to put it here, but now I get to show how it's installed. So basically, the factory had this vent on this side of the dashboard. So now that I get to install the dashboard, I get to install the vent, and right now it is perfectly centered, and I have my vent, and it moves, side to side and up and down. So that is just like the factory, and this vent matches the one on this side. And then I have my center vents here, which are factory. These are the original factory center vents that I bought for the Novas, and it's not fully attached. It's just sitting there because it needs the dash pad to complete and finish it off. I got the ducting all situated. There's the relays for the vintage air unit, and then you can see here the ducting is running through here, and then of course the other one runs to the dashboard. And so I got my glove box installed, because now that all the ducting is done, I get to install the glove box, and it looks really small, but I guess it's functional for having AC. And I also now can show you how this thing works, because I did the calibration and it was super easy. So basically, this panel, when I turn the key, this panel will turn on when the relays turn on for the vintage air unit, which is behind the dashboard. And this panel basically controls the servo motors in the unit. The first one here controls the fan speed, and I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to turn the key. So the relays are now on, giving power to for this panel here, and also giving power to the motor here that's in the unit. And this is cool because it's completely variable. So I'm going to move it really slowly, and you're going to hear the fan increase in speed as I move it. It's on now. It's on low. And that's full high. So it works beautifully. The center one controls the compressor when it's on cold, turning it on, and hot, it controls the heat. And the last one controls the servo motors, which will direct the airflow to the three parts of the car. So the dashboard, the floor, and the top of the dashboard, which is the defrost. So that's pretty much the vintage air setup. It's complete, fully complete, and once I get the dash pad, I can finalize that vent. So let's give you a little view of the reflection as I walk, so you can see. So that came out really sweet. Very, very proud of myself. Very proud of myself. So the last thing, as far as well, it's not really the last thing, but amongst many things that needs to be put on, one of them is the front and rear bumpers. And those, I actually have them out. I sent them out to get re-chromed because I can't really put them the way they were back on the car. So that's going to take about 2 weeks. So I had to take them apart. So here's the inner bumper structures. And so only the bumper covers is what I have sent out to get re-chromed. And then of course all the bolts, they're here waiting their truck bed coating treatment. So I did the phosphoric acid treatment for 24 hours to get rid of all the rust or any contaminants, and they're pretty much ready to be recoated and reborn. So there it is. I gotta do some of the interior. I'm gonna put back in. So this one's the driver's side panel. I gotta get rid of all that gook that they put on there, and I'm gonna replace all that gook with some neoprene foam. Make it a little bit more cleaner. And then I gotta put on these. These are the filler panels for the front bumper. Here's the filler panel for the front bumper. So I got the bolts here, and they've been treated with the truck bed coating. You can see they're all brand new. All the bolts around the fenders have been treated and placed on there nicely new, and that's pretty much it as far as the car. That's my update. Those are the results of the cut and buff, and I'm very happy with the results. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.